Hey guys, welcome to the Premium Picks full card predictions and bets for UFC Fight Night, Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe, and let's break down this card. Let's go. First fight of the night, we got Charles Johnson versus Rafael Estevam. Johnson, notorious grinder, tough guy, always makes it to the final bell, but he can be wrestle fucked, and he's facing a guy who likes to grind. So on paper, this looks like a tough matchup for him. It looks like it's going to be a boring, drawn-out fight. If you want to bet, all the overs are live here. I think Estevam will be able to grind him out in kind of like a boring decision. I expect this to hit the final cards. Estevam by decision. I want to take the dog. I think Johnson's the tougher guy. I don't think he'll get finished, but he can be held down. Give me Estevam decision. I like all the overs. What do you think?
Yeah, Esteban, he does come out and wrestle a lot, but like it's a little it's striking is a little sloppy. So if this ever is on the feet, like Johnson's way better striker, a lot more technical. His problem is he likes to hold back too much sometimes and hold back, and you just got to go for it. But people say he gets taken down. Gets taken down 10 times by Cody Durden, 10 times whatever by Makayev. I think it was 12 actually. Problem is like to do that, you got to get up 11 times, right? You got to get up 9 times. So Estevam, I re-looked at his contender series fight. Buddy let him sit in guard all day. Like, I don't think Charles Johnson's going to let him sit in guard, to be honest with you. So, and yeah, so I know how Charles is tough. So Charles has a chance to actually finish this fight, I think. We don't know how tough Estevam is. This is a tough spot to be in. Really, this is his debutante fight because he missed weight in his last fight, had a bad weight cut. So how do we know this is even going to go through like properly? And if he does, like, that's the thing, right? So I'm going to go with Johnson because I think he's the more seasoned guy. I like Johnson by decision, which is plus 210. But I can see a finish. I can really see a finish. We don't know. Debutantes like gas tank issues, like this guy, his weight cut, he hasn't shown me anything yet for me to bet on him.
Yep, fair enough. Next fight of the night should be actually a really good one. We got Nicholas Motta versus Trey Ogden. Motta minus 138, Ogden plus 110. I think those odds are right. I think this is a very tough fight to predict. Nick's definitely the striker. Ogden on paper is the grappler, but you know what? Ogden can strike. He can handle himself. He's a tough guy. And Nick is coming off a vicious knockout loss. Vicious knockout loss. So we don't know if his chin or brain is going to be able to take those shots the way he used to. Honestly, I'm thinking dog or pass here. Like, I get it. Nick's the better striker. I get it, but you don't know how you're coming back off a knockout that he just suffered. So for me, it's dog or pass because I know Ogden is a tough guy. I don't think Nick is going to knock him out. I think if there's a finish, it's Trey finishing him or Nick picks him apart for 3 rounds. But it's dog or pass for me. What do you like?
Oh, it looks like we're on opposite sides of all these ones.
Hey, good.
I'm on the Motta side, but not by a lot. And this has a lot to do with the way Motta gets finished, right? So the two guys that finished him were Miguel Torres with the elbow from hell and Jim Miller, who is notorious for finishing guys. And the thing that finishes Motta, and I've seen it in all his film, is that he's a little chinny, but to power punchers. I don't throw Trey Ogden in the power punching category. I throw him in the grinder category, the up against the cage, the pitter patter from stay on the outside, kick him with leg kicks, punch your distance. Not to say he can't win that fight, but he can. But Motta, he gets stopped by power punches. I think the striking he's a little bit better than Trey. Trey's a little bit rudimentary. What do they say? Well-rounded but good at nothing kind of fighter. That's the kind of fighter that Trey is, right? He's a tough guy. So I feel like there's not a finish in this fight. I feel like the overs are live here. Fight to go to the decision is minus 105, what I think is fair. Unless you think Trey's going to get knocked out, which I don't. I've seen him get hit. And Trey Ogden doesn't have a knockout on his record, or he has one knockout on his record. He's not a knockout kind of guy. So I like the overs in this. Minus 125 for the over 2.5. That's juicy. Take the extra juice for just like the half round, just in case somebody gets tired at the end there. Who knows, right? But that's where I'm leaning on this fight.
All right. Next fight tonight, we got Lucy Pudilova versus Ailin Perez. You know what? Short and sweet, I think Perez is just the stronger, better athlete here. I think she's got unlimited cardio. She doesn't gas. And I think she can ground Pudilova whenever she wants. Like maybe on the feet, it might kind of look like a point fight or look kind of even. But I think that Perez is the much stronger, bigger, physically. She's going to bully the fight. I think it's going to go Perez's way. She doesn't gas. There's nothing to show me that shows she's going to gas. I don't know. I got Ailin Perez. I'm pretty confident on Perez here too, I think. What do you see?
I think that Lucy Pudilova's biggest weakness in her 2 UFC stints has been her takedown defense. And what does Ailin Perez do well? She takes girls down, and she looked like she had an unlimited gas tank in that Ashley Evans fight. So, I mean, it's weakness against strength, grappler against, I don't know what you want to call Pudilova. For a women's fight, the minus 175 that I'm seeing is pretty damn good. I think there's a lot of ground fighting in this, though. And I think Perez, I don't know if she's going to sit and guard all this time, because there's a small shot that there's a finish here, right? There's a small shot that she finishes here. But by decision is probably the easiest prop to go with. But I like the Perez money line anyways. People might say it's a lot of juice to pay. I just think the strengths and weaknesses add up to each other in this particular fight.
Yep. All right, moving on. We got Lucas Alexander minus 500 versus plus 380 Jekka Saragih or Saragih, however you want to pronounce
you
it.
got it right. That's it. That's the first time.
Either way, you got Alexander. Sorry, he's a striker. Jekka, he likes to strike as well. He's almost fights like a Michael Chandler. Like he's just explosive in everything he does. So he hits hard. He can score a knockout himself. He can wrestle decent. He's almost like a musclehead guy. But what do those guys do? If they don't knock you out, they gas. And I don't think he's going to knock out Lucas Alexander. So, like, don't get me wrong. Minus 500, stupid. Like, this is a no play. This is a pass. I'm not playing anything here. But, minus 500, no play. But Alexander, I think, takes over the fight as it goes on. I got Alexander to win this fight. What do you think?
I think he's a way better striker. I think the only thing is a lucky punch by Jekka Saragih. I mean, I looked at his last fight against Anshel Jubli, like, wasn't very good, man. And Anshel Jubli like really won that fight. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't think he was even in that fight, to be honest with you. Maybe I was wrong. But Lucas Alexander, I mean, that was a Steven Peterson retirement fight. He looked a lot better than people gave him credit for. But the striking looks up to par. And his first fight in the UFC, I will chalk that up to fighting a monster in Joe Anderson Brito that we'll talk about later in this video. Brito's a monster, and to have him on short notice in your first fight is kind of shitty. That's shitty luck, bro. So you weren't gonna get much there because Joe Anderson doesn't let you breathe, right? So I mean, Alexander should be able to strike from the outside against Saragih. Saragih has a puncher's chance, but minus 500 is gross. Now, prop wise, do you think this goes long? I don't know enough about Saragih, right? That's the problem. I don't know enough about Saragih to say this will go long or this will go short. So I don't really have a prop for this. Do you?
No, it's for me, minus 500 just equals pass. Like the guy's not good or enough or proven enough to be a minus 500. So for me, it's literally a pass.
Yeah, I think he's going to win the fight, but I probably won't bet on it.
Yeah. All right, moving on. We got some heavyweights here. We got Mick Parkin versus Kyle Machado. 7-0 versus 8-1. Parkin coming in at minus 350. Kind of crazy. Machado plus 275. Machado is a volume puncher. For a big guy, he actually throws a lot of strikes. And I think he's the harder hitter. He hits pretty hard too. But Mick looked really good last fight. But it's so hard to judge off that fight because he fought Jamal Pogues. And it's really hard to judge how good Pogues is too, because he looks like a slob, but you know what? His hands aren't terrible. So you know what? Mick looked pretty good. I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he's going to be the more technical fighter. He moves pretty decent for a big guy. He's just not some big finisher. So when I'm looking at this, it's like minus 350 on a guy who's kind of a point fighter. I don't know if I want to bet that. And if I do, it's got to be some kind of and over. So maybe same game parlay, him over 1.5, maybe something like that. I think Parkin wins, but I don't like the minus 350. What do you think?
So what's his name there? Machado. I looked at his Dana White Contender Series fight. He did outstrike the guy like 120-17. He did look like he was slowing down by the end of it, and he looked very wild, very non-tech. Basically, the opposite of what Mick kind of looked like when he fought Jamal Pogues the last time. Mick looked really technical, good stance switching, good all of that stuff, good technical from the outside boxing. Didn't really threaten the finish at all in that fight, and I don't think that is going to happen here. The finish is going to be like some sort of like lucky sort of puncher's chance from Machado that would finish this fight. Or I know Mick can ground him. He has probably the better ground game in this case, the better grappling. I just don't know if he's going to use it or not because these guys are pretty brand new to the UFC. We don't know. We haven't seen enough tape. You don't know their tendencies. So it's really hard. For all intents and purposes, Mick should win this fight. She shouldn't have a hard time if he can fight the same way. And plus 260 for a decision is pretty damn good. Especially he's not a power puncher. For all the punches that he threw in Contender Series Machado, 121-17, I believe it was the exact number. He didn't finish the guy. Right? Because he slowed down. When he slowed down, a little bit of that whip comes off the punches. And if someone's going to finish, it's going to be Mick at the end because this guy gasses. And that's the only way I see it finishing. Otherwise, I see it going to decision, which I think is a decent number at plus 165, plus 120 to go over 2.5. So if that's the way you think, you're getting plus money on something you don't even have to pick the winner on. Not bad.
All right, next fight of the night. Very late, last-minute replacement. There's no odds on this fight. We got Christian Leroy Duncan versus Denis Tiuliulin. Honestly, Dennis always has a chance if he can knock you out because he hits hard. Christian Leroy Duncan, good chin. I don't think he's getting knocked out. I know he lost last fight to Petrosian, but Petrosian's a better striker than Tiuliulin or whatever you pronounce his name. So the point is, I don't think Christian Leroy Duncan's getting knocked out. So therefore, I choose Christian Leroy Duncan to win this fight. I'm trying to think of maybe over, but even Dennis gets finished a lot too. So I just like Leroy Duncan, but there's no odds, so I can't even tell you how to play it. The whole point of this breakdown is pretty much pointless until there were some odds, but I don't have any odds unless you see something.
Minus 450, but they don't have it. They don't have
so
any
there
props.
You go. Yeah. Minus 450 is crazy too. So I think Leroy Duncan wins the fight. Not betting it. What do you think?
I feel like Denis Tiuliulin's not even up to UFC snuff, okay? Christian Leroy Duncan was up against a more experienced fighter the last time. He actually didn't look bad. Let's put it together. He was tough as nails. He took all of Armin's punches. Not that Armin's a finisher, but like he got hit with some good ones. He didn't show enough urgency. I'd like him to show a little bit more urgency. But he's got Tiuliulin outskilled here, bro. Outskilled, like
out everything, speed, everything.
Yeah, he's speed, youth,
durability,
grappling, striking. Though, Leroy Duncan could be a little bit more technical and less of the spinny stuff. I would like that from him because I can see that he's a good fighter. You can see in the tape that he's a good fighter, and this one should be a wash. This minus 450, I am a lot more convinced on adding to some sort of parlay than Lucas Alexander, right? Like I don't believe Lucas Alexander yet because I haven't seen enough of him. But skill-wise with Leroy Duncan versus this Tiuliulin, I've seen enough of Tiuliulin to know that the skills that Leroy Duncan possesses should be enough. Probably to finish him.
Yeah, no, I agree. When Tiuliulin loses, it's usually he gets dropped and shells up or whatever. I think next fight of the night, we got Chad Anheliger versus Jose Johnson. This is pretty much a striker versus striker. This should be a good fight. Jose Johnson looked terrible last fight, but it was against Damon Blackshear, a very, very good fighter. So this is a step down. That said, I'm still kind of nervous for him. He's been around forever. He does hit hard. He can crack. For me, I almost feel like I like the unders on this fight. I think someone's getting knocked out here. Like Jose Johnson, he usually wins by knockout or he gets taken down or like beaten and whatever. And then you got Chad, who's a power puncher as well. Whereas I think he's maybe not quite as much snap on his punch or as much range or whatever, but he hits hard. And Jose, when he loses, he gets finished. So I see one of these guys getting finished. I'm tempted almost to stab the dog, even though I like Jose Johnson. But depending on what the under is, I might play some kind of under here because I don't think this fight goes the distance. Somebody's getting finished. That's what I think. What do you think?
I think if Chad wants to win this fight, he's got to take down Jose Johnson. On the feet, you said striker versus striker. It's correct. It's very correct. But there's a 7-inch reach advantage for Jose Johnson, and he should be able to use it here. The odds suck. It's minus 200 on Jose Johnson. Stinks. You don't know what you're really getting. But I feel like his striking, he should be able to touch. I've watched Chad. Chad comes up short a lot, and he's always looking for the big home run, and he's comes up short a lot. Gotta remember, this guy Chad is on his last legs here. I think he's like 36, 37.
So is Jose Johnson, though. He's on his last legs, too.
Yeah, but I feel like the physical tools are what got him why he's the
Jose has quit in him, though. I swear he has quit in him.
Yeah, but the two guys that he lost to recently is fucking Ronnie Lawrence and Damon Blackshear. Like, what would Chad Anheliger do against Ronnie Lawrence and Damon Blackshear? Maybe not so much Ronnie Lawrence now that he's quit on MMA, but like he did get taken down 12 times in that fight. I feel like if Chad wants to put the grappling to use, is how he's going to win this fight. I'm not betting this fight because I have no balls to bet Jose Johnson. If I was to bet this fight, it would be Chad Anheliger, and I would hope he would grind the shit out of him because I feel like that's the way to go. And sneaky Chad Anheliger by submission is plus 1,000. It's not bad. Not bad. But I'm not playing that fight. But if I was going to put $10, it'd be on a submission.
Yeah, for sure, man. All right, guys. Last prelim of the night. I think this should be on the main card. This is one of my favorite fights of the night, hands down. We got Jonathan Pearce versus Joanderson Brito. We got Pearce coming in minus 138. You got Brito coming in at plus 110. Brito is a dangerous, dangerous man. If there's going to be a knockout or a quick knockout, it's going to be Brito catching Pearce early. So there's two ways to play this fight. It's a Brito finish or a Pearce over, maybe, because I think he's got to dive at the legs, take him down, and use his more well-rounded game. Like I like Jonathan Pearce, I do, but I like Brito too. I like them both. This is a great fight. I really like it. I believe it belongs on the main card. I don't know if Pearce will grind him out or if he'll finish him on the ground, or is Brito going to starch him in the first round? Like even Brito first round might not be the worst pick in the world. Like I don't know what the first round props looking like, but Brito's got a chance early for sure. He's definitely got a chance early. This guy fights like almost like a Davison Figueiredo. He's just a madman and he has serious power. So, and then he'll fade if it goes on. Tough fight to predict. Like them both. Going to enjoy it. What do you think?
I think Brito.
Yeah.
I just do. I do like
Pearce is good too, man.
It was a tough fight to call. Like I'm on the fence. Let me put it that way. I'm on the fence on all of them. Jonathan Pearce. I was watching him. Even again, Elkins had his moments in that fight against Pearce, right? And Makwan had his moments against Pearce in that fight too, until he got stopped. But the real one, and these are his last three fights: Elkins, and then Makwan, and then the third one was Christian Rodriguez, who we know is like a decent young 21-year-old fighter, right? You know, Pearce, we were right. Pearce had the experience on him, won the first round, but he gassed real hard in that third round. And Christian Rodriguez came back with the fury. I'm not saying that's the way Joe Anderson fights. I'm just saying that, you know, the almighty Jonathan Pearce is pierceable, basically. You know what I mean? And I feel like Brito gets who was that fight he had? I think it was Andre Touchy-Feely. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna pick Feely. I got real screwed on that one, man. But you know, he beat Feely. I mean, he beat Alexander. He beat Weston, whatever Williams. Not a big deal on the Weston Williams one, but the other two were okay, good fighters. So I feel like this is where the UFC figures out where Jonathan Pearce is gonna go and where Joe Anderson Brito is gonna go. You know, Brito's skilled. They both have gas problems. That's because they both go for it, right? They don't stand around. They don't friggin' wait. Pearce is going to go and take down this guy right away. But who knows if he puts his head into a guillotine? This is probably the best fighter, other than, I guess, a Warren Joe Lozon that Pearce has fought. This is definitely the best fighter that Brito's fought, unless you say that Pearce isn't better than Bill Algeo, which I think he is. This is only loss, as Brito's loss was Bill Algeo, and that was razor thin. So Yeah, I mean, I like the dog. I mean, I don't like the dog odds, but I don't like picking the favorite here. I feel like
And if you look at the records, they're both like they both have all finishes with 2 decisions. Like they're both all finishes. So I don't know, man. Someone's probably going to get caught in a bad way. I don't know, but I like them both. Honestly, they're
I
both
like
great
them both.
fighters,
It's a tough fight, man. That's a tough fight. You're right. I mean, I'm on
and
the
it belongs
fence.
on the main card. It belongs on the main card.
It's good enough to be like the third from last fight on
Right.
one of these
What's
fights.
the next fight? Uros Medic versus Orolbai? Like again, I don't know. Like again, I'd
Oh
rather
man,
watch.
this Worldby though. Oh, anyways, we'll go to that after.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. Moving on to the main card. Please like, please subscribe. Please like. We appreciate it. First fight of the main card. Let's get right into it. We got Uros Medic versus I don't even know how to pronounce his first name. Miktibek Morolbai. Fucking buddy. The guy's a finisher. He's a killer. Do your research. He does kill people,
Yep.
but who does he kill? That's the only question. It's kind of like I don't know this opposition. Like that, he's not as tested. But even Medic isn't that tested. Obviously, he finished Semmelsberger last fight. That was a good win. But they both kind of have red flags, to be honest. But they're both finishers. The safest play, somebody's getting finished in this fight. Somebody will get finished here. What do you see? What do you think?
Well, basically, I'm gonna odd bet this because I looked when I first looked this morning when I saw it announced. Medic was the favorite, and now he's the underdog.
I
Why
see
is
no
it?
odds. What are the odds?
It's just like plus 165 for Medic and something else for the other guy. Best fight odds had him. But Medic is the underdog. And if Medic stays the underdog, he's got the experience on this guy. I don't even know what this guy's like. Like he could just cut like whatever. Medic actually showed in that Semmelsberger fight that I thought he was gonna death gas after the first round, but he looked pretty damn good going in round two. I believe what was the fight right before Semmelsberger, if I can pull it up. I believe it was Omar Morales where he went into round two again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He won by knockout round 2.
yeah, round two. So he went to round two again. And then it's because he got rear naked choked on that, and then he beat Elon Cruz thing in the first round. But yeah, he was known for death gassing after the round one. But showed me a lot of heart in that Semmelsberger fight. And Matt Semmelsberger, like you said, isn't he's not a bad fighter. He's not a great fighter. He's just a guy that's in the middle, right? That's where Uros Medic is. How do Cooley Bow or Bao? I don't know what this guy's name is, but like I looked him up. I looked up. He kills people though. It's absolute destruction.
He does. I just don't know who they are.
Right. So do you think he's just gonna walk it? Give Medic some credit. He's a technical striker, right? If he's gonna let this guy walk him down, then yeah, someone's going down. It's Medic is gonna gas in this one because the pace is not gonna be unless he's dictating it. And if he's dictating it, he's gonna win.
All right. Next fight on the main card, we got Amanda Ribas versus Luana Pinheiro. Ribas coming in at minus 225, Pinheiro plus 187. Ribas coming off an absolute destruction to Macy Barber. She's moving back down in weight to 115 pounds. Good decision because you know what? She can't take that many more beatings. When I first saw this, I wanted to play Pinheiro, 11-1. I want to play her. I have no faith in Ribas anymore. And Pinheiro is a grappler, so I don't think Ribas is going to be able to tap her. The problem here is Pinheiro's not a power puncher. I'm going to bet against Ribas against any power striker. Pinheiro is not that power striker. So that's where it's kind of like any fight where it's going to go out and go the distance. I almost think Ribas will get the nod, and she does good in those like point fights. So my brain's telling me Ribas is going to win this fight, but I still, minus 225. It's tempting to stab the dog here. Probably not going to play it at all. What do you think?
To your point, I do think she is a little bit of a power puncher. I do. But like she finished her first fight, that Stephanie Fausto girl by KO. She knocked down Randa Marcos, right? I'm pretty sure she did. No, she knocked down Sam Hughes.
But right? She split decision Karate Hottie, and I thought she lost.
I did too, but Karate Hottie is like, but that was a step up fight though. We always talk about the expert, like the resume that Karate Hottie had, and like Karate Hottie's been known. That fight where she got rear naked choked was the only time Karate Hottie was finished in like 25 years, right? So I mean, Luana Pinheiro is not finishing her there. We know you're the one that's told me this, Matal. He busts his chinny. You've said it.
Oh
We're
yeah, oh
talking.
yeah,
We've
oh
talked
yeah.
about this a lot, and you've told me, and I'm like, no, 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 and you're like, and I believe in he busts his chinny, and I'm not saying Pinheiro is like amazing by any means, but I ain't laying minus 200 on a he boss fight ever again, ever. She beat me on the Macy Barber fight when she was won the first round. She just doesn't. She's not tough enough. She has quit in her too, right? She has quit in her too, man. I mean, you would say that Marina Rodriguez fight too, right? I mean, she just kept putting her face out there to get smashed.
That being said, even when the going gets tough, she still brawls with her face forward like an idiot and eats it and goes down. But she doesn't run away from a fight.
Yeah, I think it's a
It's
little
dog or
too.
pass, dog or pass.
I think it's too wide, man. I'm gonna go Pinheiro. I don't like it. This isn't my play of the card. And Pinheiro by finish is plus 400 as by KO. I don't think no one's tapping each other, so that's it, man.
Yeah, we'll leave it at
I'm going
that.
with that one.
All right, moving on. Strange place on the main card here. We got Peyton Talbott versus Nick Aguirre. Talbott 6-0, undefeated prospect, young kid, looks like a finisher in every sense of the word, but he's minus 1,000. Unless my site's wrong, I see him at minus 1,000. That's fucking insane. And then you got Nick coming back at plus 600. I don't know if that's a mistake or what, but I don't know how a young prospect against another finisher, 7-1, and Peyton doesn't have the greatest grappling. He can be taken down. I don't know how he's minus 1,000. So yes, he's probably going to win by knockout. He's a finisher, but at plus 600 on the other side, 7-1, also a finisher, good at takedowns, pretty good grappler. I would chase the dog or I'd pass. Like, it's a pass or sprinkle the dog. That's the only way I can see. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. What do you think?
They're obviously trying to big this guy up, right? So that's what they're trying to do. So I've seen him. He's a finisher. He has decent striking. His get up game's pretty good. I don't know how he's gonna actually fare against UFC competition. This guy Aguirre is all right. I think he lost his first fight. Yeah, he lost to Dan Argueta. Tough fucking fight.
Wade is a good fighter.
Yeah, tough fight. He toughed it out, but he like wasn't in no way, shape, or form in that fight at all, right? So like that was like Argueta like styling on him. Maybe Argueta should have like done more with it, right? Because Argueta took him down 4 times, right? He didn't do anything with it. I've seen Peyton Talbot get taken down though, and he is only 6-0, right? And it's his debut fight, right? So the other guy's 7-1, and the only fucking loss he has is his last fight. So I don't know, man. I'm not betting this fight, and if I was to do it, I would take some crazy prop like Aguirre by submission plus 1,600. Other than that, because you're not going to get paid on anything else.
Otherwise, a Peyton first round knockout, but like I just don't really want to. Like it's
Yeah,
just
but Peyton first round knockout plus 220. How many times have we seen debutantes go like not fight up to the way they're supposed to fight, right? So I have much to say about this fight.
yeah, rightfully so. All right, next fight of the night, we got Jordan Leavitt, the fucking twerker versus Chase Hooper. Obviously, grappler versus grappler, lightweight fight. Leavitt plus 200, I believe he's coming in at. Hooper minus 250. You guys, I don't know if you've watched our previous videos. I think Chase Hooper sucks. I think I'd kick his ass. I know everybody will laugh at me and go, ha, ha, ha. Fuck it, man. I got a jiu-jitsu background. I've trained many years. I got a boxing background. I think Chase Hooper fucking sucks. Great grappler, but Leavitt's a good grappler. Hooper, terrible wrestling. So I think Leavitt's actually the better wrestler. And Hooper did show improved striking. So yes, I give Hooper the edge on the feet. But I don't know. I think Leavitt might be able to get Hooper down and on top. And if he's on top, like I'm not sure that one's going to sub the other. I don't know. But the guy on top's going to win if this becomes a grappling match. And Hooper's wrestling is fucking terrible. This guy is so weak or so bad at wrestling. So he's got to rely on his striking, or like I don't think he's going to sub Leavitt. So I don't know, man. For me, it's dog or pass. I'm a Chase Hooper hater. Sorry. That's just where I stand. What do you think?
I'm not laying minus 250 on Chase Hooper. Striking, both of the, I mean, I guess Chase Hooper's a better striker. but he can be taken down. Jordan Levitt's a grappler too, so I see Jordan Levitt trying to take down Chase Hooper. Hooper is probably going to try to like sweep him, and now they're just going to jiu-jitsu nerd this entire fight and grind and have really shitty non-technical striking. Yeah, so I see this as a grind fest, and I don't mean anything by that, Jordan Levitt, so please don't twerk on this show ever. And I don't mind Jordan Levitt by decision at plus 450. I think this fight goes long, no one's subbing each other. I also like fight goes the distance minus 125. If you really think Chase is going to knock him out or sub him, I think the grappling just like cancels each other out. And both of them have the power of my 9-year-old.
Chase Hooper's just so bad at wrestling. That last fight that he won over that, was it Nick Fiore or some shit?
Fiore,
that guy could have won that fight. He was taking him down at will, and he just stopped wrestling. It was driving me nuts. I don't know. Hooper's got no wrestling. None. Zero. So I'm not that Levitt's a wrestler by any means, but we'll see what happens. Sorry for my rant. Vodka, orange pop. Don't ask me. All right, co-main event of the night. We got Jake Matthews versus Michael Morales. Michael Morales, a huge striking background back in, I think it's Ecuador, I think he's from or something. Huge striking background. Yes, sometimes he's kind of low volume or tentative. He lets his fights drag on, but it doesn't matter. He's so technical. So whether he wants to draw this out and win a 3-round decision or whether he sparks Matthews, I think either way, he's the better fighter here. He's the much better striker. It's just a matter of whether he lays it on him or doesn't. But Michael Morales, I got all day to win this fight. Problem is he's minus 300, Matthews plus 240. But you know what? Minus 300 feels good as a parlay piece anyways. To be honest, I feel really confident on Michael Morales. What do you think?
Yep, I like him too. I think he's technical. I think he's low volume, just like you said. But I also think he is way more skilled than Jake Matthews is, right? Matthews is also low volume too. So I find this is a little bit of a push grind sort of fight. I don't see the finish happening. I like the overs on this. Plus 145 to go to the decision. Like, I believe Michael Morales is gone. Did he finish Miles Johns?
A lot of decisions.
Yeah, man. I sound like this guy's a potent decision.
Matthews is a little bit chinny though. A little bit chinny.
Yeah. He finished Fugit in the 3rd round. Trevin Giles was notorious, gasser. And the other two are decisions. I mean, I don't know, man. Jake Matthews, you think he's a gasser? No.
No. I said he's a bit chinny.
He's a bit chinny, but
he can be KO'd.
He could be KO'd, but I don't think it'll be one punch. So it's not one punch Matthews goes out, right? One punch Matthews goes down. Morales falls into the ground. And on the ground, I feel like Matthews is safe enough as a jiu-jitsu player to keep from getting finished. Unless, but I haven't seen the killer instinct out of Morales. Like, with those guys that when they got you hurt on the ground, boom, boom, they just jump on you like a ravaged dog. I don't know.
I'm waiting for it to come out. I want him to show it.
Right. So that I'll be a little bit more less hesitant to not go with the longer bets. But I do like, now that I just saw this, the over 2.5 at plus money. I do like it.
All right, that leads us to our main event. We got Brendan All-In Allen versus Paul Craig. I mean, it kind of looks like a grappler versus grappler, but Allen is well-rounded. Brendan Allen's a tough guy. He's starting to mix up his striking. And I think more than anything, his biggest improvement has been his mental game. Like, I think he's finally found that confidence. He believes in himself. And a guy who believes in himself is a dangerous man. So I don't think Paul Craig is going to pull that Hail Mary submission here. And I love Paul Craig. I love him. I'll be happy to see a Paul Craig submission. I love Paul Craig. I love me Paul Craig. But I think Brendan Allen's the more well-rounded, more confident, more momentum on his side, the more ups, more stock, whatever you want to say it. More momentum. He's rising here. Give me Brendan Allen to get it done. But I just hate the odds. Minus 400. I don't think he should be minus 400. Paul Craig plus 300. I like them both. I'm not going to be disappointed in either of them here, but I think Brendan Allen wins. What do you think?
I think he's a safe parlay piece. I don't see where's Paul Craig beat him other than
Hail Mary submission.
That's it. That's like some Hail Mary submission. That's the only thing. But like that's a Hail Mary submission against Ankalaev. That's a Hail Mary submission against Nikita Krylov. That's a Hail Mary submission against Andre Muniz, who actually is a good ground fighter, the only one, but he's a quitter when we know that too, right? So does Brendan Allen get tapped out all that often? No, I can't. I can't picture the one way Paul Craig wins this for Brendan Allen. Paul Craig's wrestling is not that great. Brendan Allen has the better wrestling, has the better striking. I guess Paul he wings punches so he can get into range and then just like fall on you or fall back and you follow him to the ground. Like, sneaky pick, Brendan Allen by knockout, not by submission. Brendan Allen by KO, plus 125. I like it. I like it a lot.
I was just about to say, Paul Craig fights. The guy is kill or be killed. He doesn't go the distance, and that's in 3 rounds fights. This is a 5-round fight. So you got to be playing a finish. You got, even if it's double method, whatever, you got to play a finish here.
I agree, man. This is Brendan Allen knockout. I can't see Brendan Allen tapping out Paul Craig either. So
what is the double method? Just wondering that if you can see it there. I don't know if you have it.
I got it on me. Which one? KO decision?
KO submission finish, just a finish. So KO
minus
KO
275. Don't even waste your time.
Terrible.
You got to pick KO decision or submission decision.
I don't, buddy. It's not going 5 rounds. There's no chance.
Then you got to pick a method. You don't have a choice here, bro.
It ain't going 5. Paul Craig ain't going 5.
I think he gets knocked the fuck out. I personally think it's Brendan Allen with more well-roundedness and everything. Paul's cardio is known to be even worse than Brendan Allen's cardio. And Brendan is shown in the last few fights, and he's on a pretty decent win streak himself. He got finished by Chris Curtis, the Action Man, and ever since that, it was smooth sailing. Remember, Jacob Malkoun hump him, right? So, I mean, that was a close fight, but still, he didn't get out humped like most of Jacob Malkoun's other fighting partners in fighting. So let's go with Brendan Allen by knockout. That's my official pick.
Yeah, no, I like it, and I would say even if you want to add more juice. Just because, depending on what site you're using here, you can take the knockout under friggin' 3 or under 4, under 4.5. That'll still give you more. This fight is not going 5 rounds. I'd be shocked if this fight went 3 rounds, to be honest.
I mean, there's my official. Let's go round 3.
I'm just saying under. You could just add an under just to get more, right?
Yeah.
Paul Craig is kill or be killed. It ain't going long.
I agree.
All right, guys, there you have it. Those are our predictions and bets. Please subscribe. We appreciate it. And we'll see you for the next card. Have a good one, guys.
Peace.